Paulette?
Oh, hello. How are you? Hi,
Fine,
Lynn.
thank you. Could you tell us for what condition your daughter takes LDN?
Surely. My daughter, when she was 9 years old, she started to have problems with her intestines, and she, the doctors had told us that she has Crohn's,
Hmm.
and for 10 years before using LDN, um, she was she experienced so many problems. Um, she had pain, she had anemia, she had just generalized not feeling well, and we were always on edge, always. And she took many medications, and I took her to many doctors, and um, it was just nothing seemed to work. It may have been like a very temporary thing. It helped a little bit, and then she would be sick again. And I was always worried about the medications also, what side effects they were giving her.
She was very young, wasn't she? 9 years
She
old.
was. She was. She was very young.
Mm.
And then one day I found, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know if you
That's okay,
want.
no?
Okay. Um, One day I was on the internet, which I was on the internet constantly before that for years and years and years, and then somehow this LDN came up, and I remember reading about it and just thinking to myself, oh, is this my answered prayer?
Hmm.
And I had thought of that also of other things prior, and I would get excited, and then I would be, of course, let down. But somehow, again, I was in that position, and I said, I mean, I actually, when I was reading about LDN, I started crying because I just said, could this be it for my Sarah? And she was at school when I was looking at the computer and reading about this, and I called her, and I was so excited, and I said, Sarah, I think I found it. I think I found, the answer. And she said, oh, Mom, she said, of course I'll try it, but it's probably, another, thing that you found, and it probably won't work. I said, no,
Mm.
Sarah, I was crying and I was excited, and she said, okay, Mom. And
Hmm.
so then I was able to, I called Dr. Bahari's office, and the gentleman answered, and he said to me that there's a doctor in the city here that you can take her to, and he will prescribe the LDN. So I immediately called that doctor, which is Dr. Martin Ehrlich in Manhattan, and um, the secretary said, well, we have an appointment next week for you. I said, no, no, please, today, please, please, please. And
Oh.
and it was just like I was just so insistent. I said, no, my daughter, she has to see him, please. It, she called me back. She said, okay, you could come in, and it was. I remember it was late in the afternoon after Sarah's school. We went to see him, and you know, uh, he did prescribe the LDN, and I just wanted her to start it that night.
Hmm.
And because it's compounded, you just can't go to any pharmacy. So there's a pharmacy in the city, and they were just about closing. And Dr. Ehrlich said, "I'll call them," and he did. And he said they told him that we could come right over and get it. So
Hmm.
we went immediately to get it from his office to the pharmacy, and that was the beginning of a wonderful a wonderful journey for my daughter. And
Could you explain, what
yeah,
happened
yes,
initially?
what had happened is I can tell you that because she has her condition involves her intestines, um, and that's where you absorb your nutrients and whatever else you put in your whatever you take in by mouth.
Mhm.
It the pills, the LDN, which is in a capsule, which we did pick up that night, didn't work that well for her. So we started her that night, and she took it for a few weeks, and it didn't seem to do much of anything. And I was on the message boards, and I was saying, we don't see too much. She didn't feel any different, actually. And I was told through emails, just continue, because sometimes it takes time. And, that doesn't mean it's not going to work. So we continued for a little longer. I think it was probably about a month we did. And then I was reading something else about transdermal cream on the message boards, which I'm so thankful for those message boards and everyone who contributes. I saw about the transdermal cream, and I said, "Oh, Sarah, we have to get, we'll switch, even though everyone's saying just continue with the capsules." I felt very strongly inside of myself that, this, she has to change to the cream. So I called Dr. Ehrlich, and he prescribed the cream, and then I tell you, within a couple of days, it was maybe 2-3 days, Sarah made an amazing improvement. She noticed it right away. And, it could be that she was, that the capsules did help her somewhat too to come to that point, but it just seemed apparent to us that the cream was what she needed because of her, where her problem with the intestines is involved. She wasn't absorbing the LDN the way she should have. So, so from that point on, she just immediately felt well. Her pain went away. Her, when she had to go to the bathroom, it was normal. She was just looking. She was looking so much better, and it was just a miracle. It was just a miracle, and we just, whoever I can tell about LDN, we've told. We also, Sarah, she goes around with her bag that says LDN. Ask me about LDN. There's a little tote bag that we ordered. So, it's and the beauty of it all is that there's no side effects to this medication. And that's such an amazing point to really emphasize, because with all the medications that are out there, most have side effects that are worrisome, and LDN is just an amazing.
So what's her diet like now she's been on LDN?
Yes, her diet. She, for those many years, I was, like I said, we tried everything, and we tried diet also. We kept her away from wheat and many different things, and it never seemed to work. But now, since the LDN, she still stays on a pretty good diet. She tries to be gluten-free because she does have a sensitivity to gluten. So she can have it once in a while, but she doesn't eat it on a regular basis. So she's gluten-free. She eats dairy, but not that much. And let's see what else. I think it's important that she stays away from yeast. So anything with yeast in it, she stays away from. And of course, sugar. She kind of, we don't, and also I have to say,